It's going to be crowded. There's 15 cabs in here. The arcade is just around the corner from what I call the office. Usually do the live streaming in there. Simpsons. This cab has been on the chopping block and I still have it. The problem with the 4 players is the obvious, is it takes up so much room. Now this Simpsons didn't come with the tin sign or the stool. I did keep the Turtles in Time stool. Sold Turtles in Time along with the NBA Jam OG. Those were actually paired right next to each other in the basement. So I do have some open spots in the future. So depending on if we get Alien vs. Predator or the next NBA Jam, the Deluxe, the Shaq Jam, those could go in those spots. So I am saving that for a reason. Those are both going to take up some room. X-Men, my first arcade one up. The cabinet that really started it for me. And the cabinet that will never go anywhere. It's my favorite game of all time. So iconic. I love it. You know, it's been a long time since I had all these running. This is crazy. Very skinny spot trying to get through here. Had to get skinny there for a second because we added Galaga, and this is the newest arcade one up I have. Recently did a review. We have those light up buttons and we can turn them on or off. It's the advantage of the new Deluxe form factor. So hopefully going, 2024, when they give us more Deluxe, the buttons will light up and we can turn them off if we want, and they'll all have those light up coin doors. Love this cabinet. It's sitting in a nice spot. It's a tight spot, but it fits. I didn't have to move that picture. Actually, a picture of my uncle and I, my dad and I, and my aunt, my dad, my uncle in San Diego. I want to say it was 1998 at a Padres game at the once Qualcomm Jack Murphy Stadium. It's a great shot of us. Time Crisis, the tallest cabinet I have here. Really looked forward to seeing this one. They really hyped it up. Couldn't wait to get my hands on it. After seeing the first image and then what it would really look like, I had to get it. It was a lot of money. The thing is we could have waited. You can always wait to pick up those deals, but I was just so excited to get another shooter in here. This whole marquee comes off. Only 4 screws holding it in. If you ever get one and have to move it around, because you can just see that ceiling fan is like right there. That will just pop right off. You just unplug it. But hopefully, again, the Deluxe, they'll light up coin doors in the future. The Buy Stuff riser booster. Pedal just sits on there, nice. I didn't want to cover up that artwork. It's worked out so far. Next to the Costco exclusive, the Pac-Man XL, 19-inch. You get the light up buttons. The only issue, you can't turn these buttons off like you can with Galaga. We'll see if that changes. I think the overall, I don't know if you necessarily need them on when you're playing, but they look pretty cool when they're just, when it's lit up. Not too much to complain with this cabinet. You do get those light up coin doors, and it really resembles a real arcade. You can just hear that Daytona in the background. My first Deluxe. It was last February or March when I got this. Almost had it a year. When this came out, it was something totally different because we didn't have the riser. It's tall, it's 61 inches, 62 inches high. Something totally unique, with the design of the control deck. Again, I guess you could do that yourself, but it'd be nice if everything lit up, because this looks so much better, doesn't it? Then you go to Time Crisis, Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat. I did keep the Mortal Kombat stool. I bought that separately. I know the stools take up room. It's nice to have a few. And they kind of hide stuff. They kind of hide cords and stuff. The Street Fighter II Deluxe, we've seen a lot of great deals on this form factor. The control deck, just look at how much higher it is than Big Blue. Just how much better it looks. They really did a good job with this. Maybe this is how the XL will look. Both marquees look pretty good. This one looks just a little bit better. A little more light showing on the bottom, but I got to turn the control deck on. Let's go with the blue. Two iconic cabinets. You know, if we get that Alien vs. Predator, will it be a Big Blue? And if we do get that, if I get it, I kept my certificate of authenticity. I didn't know where to put it yet. I was going to put it on the wall. The vault, the Galaga Deluxe, the cabinets that offer the switches to turn those buttons on or off. Got the stool for Big Blue. But yeah, just thought these would look really good paired next to each other, along with the lighting, like going with that purplish blue, like always getting this in the backdrop. Can't talk. So if I ever do a video in here, usually I'll sit right here. Not a lot of room in here. Gets tight with all the arcades and the stools. But this is always like kind of my go-to. For the very random videos I'll do in the arcade, Killer Instinct. I mean, what a difference a marquee makes. I did put some decals on mine. We have the Nintendo. I did swap out with the Sabos. It's just a little more purple. I guess the stock one's more blue. Just kind of try to be a little more arcade accurate with it. The red looks my favorite on the deck. This is such a good looking cabinet, and the thing is when we do sell, bringing in new releases, I do have the stool for it. The only way I get rid of Killer Instinct is if one, I go the At Games route with the new Legends Ultimate. You gotta factor in though, as tight as this arcade is, that's a 27-inch screen. It's basically gonna come out to like right here. And it's almost like having another 4-player, you know, control deck in here. That's what, 31 3/4, 32 inches wide. It's gonna make a difference, and that's something to keep in mind. Like, if you do get that, where are you gonna put it? Or the Killer Instinct Pro. I mean, just, you're seeing how nice Pac-Man looks, how much bigger. Imagine getting the KI Pro. Like, if it did go on sale, which I don't see happening anytime soon, but 9 months from now, I mean, seriously, I think there's a strong possibility it could be something like $5.99. Dare I say $4.99? But otherwise, like, I don't want to like part with a title unless I'm getting the next upgraded version, like, you know, Street Fighter 2. I do have 3 of them in here, so that will be easier to like swap out one for an XL, but definitely these two aren't going anywhere for a long time. Do have the Star Wars cab. This is the 2023 release, so you can see that artwork matches the riser. And then I have the Buy Stuff Arcades riser booster, plus the Buy Stuff Arcades mod. So that's why Daytona's playing on here. Light up coin doors. And I gotta tell you, this Flight Yoke plays so well. I sold my Ridge Racer. It had the same mod. So it has a couple more games, some shooters, some flight games. This is so good that I didn't need Ridge Racer. Plus I have another racing cab I'll get to in a second, but if you're on the fence about this, if you can get this at a steal, even the first Star Wars, and put this mod in, it plays perfect. Daytona, I mean, this might be the only way we can play Daytona from Arcade 1-Up. And it's not even an Arcade 1-Up anymore, it's a Buy Stuff Arcades Star Wars Multicade. These pedals are unbelievable. And it kind of sits, there's a notch in here. It just sits in there perfectly. It's a real game changer. The only thing is if this was a waterfall deck. Other than that, you can get past the riser. Yeah, if they did an XL, it's another case. Like, yeah, you could upgrade to it. but I'd probably still put this mod in. Be hard to pass on it. Now the one Street Fighter 2, you have an X-Men. The NES game, nothing to really brag about, but that artwork, it's just legendary. Just takes me right back. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, the Shinku Hadouken. I love this cabinet. Now the same games are on this very cabinet. And if I had to get rid of one of the three, unfortunately it's this one. So when something new does come out, let's just say Smash TV, this one would have to sell, or Simpsons. So because I don't really want to lose a title, probably sell this. So holding on to it a little bit longer might be easier to let go. Do have Captain Commando Plan. Just love that world map, and that's going to be the hardest part. It reminds me of my grandparents' house. Just looking at their globe, you know, just being in the living room, just playing around as a kid, going over the globe. The MVSX, huge Neo Geo fan. I do have the Hilo hack in here. I didn't play it, I just went right to King of Fighters, the standard out of the 50 game selection. They purposely made it so we could just add whatever we wanted on here. Instead of 4 buttons, they gave us 6. You can play anything. I do have this on their riser, and there was 2 sizes. A 5-inch, I want to say a 9-inch. I do have it set at 5, and it's pretty high. I mean, look at that control deck. The iArcade, the Street Fighter 2, very comfortable. And this is that much higher. The only thing is you're better off standing when you're playing, because as you can see how that control deck comes out on the arcade one up. On the iArcade, it doesn't come out here. It's like eating like a counter that, you know, you can't put your knees anywhere. They're gonna go right into the cabinet. So when I do play, I'm usually just standing here. Yeah, it's a great cabinet. You didn't have to do anything. The whole bar top was assembled. You just had to put together the stand and your choice if you go with the riser or not. The iArcade Gold, one of the most hyped up. I mean, it is. I'm glad I got it. I was interested in the Double Dragon. I almost put the Double Dragon game on here because of that, but I thought just having Space Invaders on, it's a Space Invaders cab. I always refer to this as a pro cab. So, you know, we talk Killer Instinct Pro. This is a pro cab. The marquees looks good. You have a 19-inch TN monitor. The colors really pop out at you. I mean, you do get that weird discoloration if you go up to the side, but I mean, with the things you can do with an iArcade now, there is value to it. I mean, you can plug in a trackball, a light gun. I'm holding on to this for a while. Probably keeping it at stock. I do have other ways I'm playing multi-cades, especially with the MVSX. And another cabinet, my Terminator 2, and I'll get to that in a second. I don't need another multi-cade. I don't need, you know, every cabinet to have 1,000 games on it, but there are some games on here, and I kind of want to remember this for what it was. And it was a pro cabinet with subpar, maybe B-type games. But I had a lot of fun. A lot of Data East games that I like. I regret not buying more, but I'm glad I did buy it because it's good to have other, you know, brands than just Arcade One Up in here. We got an MVSX, we have the iArcade, and we will have, and that game's coming soon, Fast and Furious. Now you can put that same racing mod that we have in Star Wars that you may have with Ridge Racer or Outrun. I like the games on here. And I went out and said that I prefer these more than the actual arcade. Call me crazy, but it's such a pedal to the metal type game. I don't even need the brake pad. I put the pedal covers on here. They do look good. It would look a lot better with the, I keep complaining about those coin doors. If I just wasn't so lazy and did it myself. The mod's gonna play really good. You know, they figured out the gear shifter, but I love the games on here. It's just like, there's no skill needed. You can just, for a guy like me to just come on here and just, you know, you'll finish third or second, no problem. Just cranking the pedal down. They did a great job with this. Terminator 2, the Sables Topper, the Marquis, the Retro Shooter Buy Stuff Kit. We have the control deck here. So everything Arcade went up is completely out of this machine. And if you did the Buy Stuff mod with Fast and Furious, it'd be the same thing. Take the PCB out, reprogram it, re-hook it up with everything from Buy Stuff. You can sell it. Like, I have the guns, the PCB, the ribbon. I could sell it. You know, you have that option, like if you do that mod. This plays so good. I mean, having so many titles on here adds a lot of value. You can get the 2-player controls, mount the guns on the side. It just depends what room you have. Or you could have kept the same control deck and just changed out your encoder board. You have options with this mod, and I went with this because I wanted the guns to sit like this. I wanted to be able to play some games on here. There are so many games. And that's another thing, is I don't know if I do anything else to the arcade, because every game pretty much is on Terminator 2. So 15 arcades in this room. Plenty more to come. We'll see what happens in 2024, but yeah, this is where we finish the year off. And we'll keep up with new releases that come out, other cabinets we sell. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'll see you guys next time.